Hello, everyone. My name is Derenda King, and I am one of the financial advisors here at Urban Wealth Management. Welcome to the Smart Women Savvy Money monthly webinar series, created especially for members of the Smart Women Savvy Money Club, which exists to provide a safe space for women to not only learn about finances, but to also become empowered to take control of their financial future. Now, as some of you already know, our mission here at Urban Wealth Management is to empower people to live lives of their own design, using all their assets to fulfill their dreams and to ultimately fulfill their passions. We believe that every person, and especially every woman, should have the ability to create the lifestyle that they desire and deserve, which is why the Smart Women Savvy Money Club was created. And as you can see here on our screen, we provide webinars and blogs on a variety of topics, ranging from financial planning to real estate, to stocks, just to name a few. And all of our webinars and all of our blogs are presented and written by women professionals who are experts in their respective fields. In fact, next month's webinar is entitled Estate Planning Lessons from the Pandemic, and it will be presented by attorney Esther Hopkins, who will join our very own Miyu Ramirez to talk about some of the potential pitfalls in estate planning and how they can be avoided. So we certainly hope that you will tune into that presentation as well. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce today's guest host or presenter, Ms. Elaine Lou Cartas, who is a business and career coach for women of color and allies. And her presentation today is entitled Scaling and Pivoting Your Business. And she's going to be providing some tangible action items for all of you business owners out there on how you can scale and simplify your business so that indeed you can have the life that you deserve. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Elaine, and welcome.
Thanks so much for having me, everyone. Well, welcome. My intention is to help you guys all be smart and savvy and making sure that this is not going to be a boring presentation. So as I get ready, let me just get my presentation out. Show. All right, Derenda, can you give me like a thumbs up that you could see it? I just want to make sure.
Looks good.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. We're going to be talking about scaling and pivoting your business. So just warning you, and I'm sure you're excited that my presentation is filled with gifts. So I don't know if anyone's a Friends fan, but I had to put the pivot from Ross. It's a funny reference if you watch Friends. So we're talking about scaling and pivoting your business. And this is happening a lot. All of us are scaling and shifting our own lives. According to Harvard Business Review, 47 million Americans quit their jobs in 2021. And according to NPR, 4 million new businesses were created in 2021 and 4.4 million in 2020. So besides looking at how hot Ryan Gosling is, you're probably battling between what has been working versus what you really want. And before we go there, obviously showing Ryan Gosling again, who am I? So my name's Elaine Lou. I'm a business and career coach for women of color and allies. If you can't tell, I'm a gift queen. So there are gifts throughout this presentation. I also like sharing with folks that I have made so many mistakes. I was 55K in debt when I first started in business. As this is recording, it's June 2022. July 2022, which is next month, will be my 5-year business anniversary. And I've made a poop ton of mistakes, as you can see in the emojis. I've quit 3 jobs, fired twice, purposely pivoted and aligned my business in the past 2 years since having my business for 5 years. My background prior to my business, and it's really important for people to remember this, is when you're starting or scaling your business and you're shifting, you are not starting from scratch. Just know all of your past experiences, both the good and the bad. It's kind of like dating our exes, right? We realize who we want to be with the next time around. Is it all helps us in the next stage. So I was a former fundraiser at Pasadena City College. I raised over 1.1 million for 200 student scholarships. I'm here with my colleague, Chris, who's also wearing a black dress. And then the 4 other people are students who actually were granted $1,000 scholarships. And all of it came from relationships, which is about my business right now. 80% of my revenue, and we'll talk about numbers, which is why it's important to look at, comes from referrals and renewals. Elon Musk, before he is who he is, I actually met him at SpaceX with his board of directors. He was a donor. The owners and founders of Trader Joe's was a donor for a client, and also the heir of LA Times. And all of these 3 donors, they were built off relationships. So like I said, I'm a Friends fan. Why you have to got to listen? I get client results. I mean, a client just closed a $20K contract. And let's go back. Like, why are people wanting to quit their jobs, start their business, pivot their business? Well, in the past 2 years, yes, I'm probably you're laughing at that give pandemic pounds, but in the past 2 years since the pandemic, we've been asking ourselves tough questions. I mean, we have been stuck in our homes, the 4 walls, asking the deep questions. Are we happy? Is this fulfilling me? Can I see myself here in 5 years? And there's a beauty in becoming aware. And the brave thing, if you choose to, is creating aligned action to what aligns for you. And scaling and pivoting a business can come in many forms, right? You could create a new high-end offer, revamping your business model, hiring a team member or business partner, deciding to spend money on investing in a coach. It could be different things. This webinar, my intention is teaching you how to not just purposely pivot, but simplify the process of creating your aligned legacy. So this is the model. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is the model that we're going through. It's the color your dreams approach, your personal legacy, the life you lead, and the future you create, people and culture, the people and the purpose you stand by, measuring to manifest, the numbers and the vision to build your legacy, and accountability to align, the support and the clarity to stay true to you. Before we go into all the numbers and the strategies, how to figure it out, and the questions, it goes back to, what is your why, right? Why are you doing this in the first place? I am a first generation immigrant. My parents and my grandparents, these are both my grandmas on both sides, immigrated from the Philippines here. In fact, I don't know if you could see this, but there's 2 red roses here on my necklace. Both my grandmas love red roses, but why I do what I do in my business, a business coach for women of color and allies, is because I understand the privilege I have compared to my grandparents shown here to have this amazing life of choice. My grandmother, who's wearing the colorful dress, I'm a color mamang, she transitioned and passed away last year. And what's interesting is, like any immigrant child, she was my 3rd parent. Both my parents are working, so she raised us. I've known her, I met her and have known her since I was pretty much since I was 6 when she moved here from Philippines. And after she passed, I found out that she had a business. She was a hairdresser, but unfortunately, in her 30s, her husband passed away, leaving her 5 kids to take care of. So she became a single mom. And she couldn't focus on her business because she had to focus on being a single mother and raising 5 kids. So I understand the privilege I have to be in this country and the resources I have to create a business. So it goes back to, what is your why? And another homework assignment is like figure out what your why is. What can you do to remind yourself of your why? I show that I wear this necklace, or I'm actually getting my phone right now. Turn off. You can't see it, but there's like, you could even put a wallpaper on your phone to just remind you, or maybe put a picture on your desk to remind you of what is your why. So I know we're talking about scaling and purposely pivoting your business, but it's really important to ask like these holistic questions too. How do you see your life holistically? Right? And looking at the different aspects, how does your health look like? And what I mean, like, what type of sport and exercise do you want to do? Do you want to go on vacations once a month or quarterly? How do you see your life with yourself? How are you having lunch every day with your computer? And if you are, that's something you probably need to work on. Are you having lunch with your partner or your family and kids? And here's a hard question to ask. How does your career look like? Does your life revolve around your career or the other way around? Understanding how different aspects of your life, health, love, family, loved ones, how it looks like is really important. So, for example, in my own life, and I don't believe in work-life balance, by the way, because I understand that things shift in our life, right? Like when my grandma transitioned, obviously family was going to be really important. And that was my focus when she passed away March last year. Or maybe you find out there's some health stuff that you need to focus on. So then more so health, right? So I don't believe in work-life balance. It just depends on where you're at in this current chapter and stage in your life. But my personal legacy is making sure I have enough time and energy for me. So I really do my phone calls Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. Today, as we're recording it, is on a Thursday. That's when I go out and just do my phone calls with my clients, connect with people that are possibly interested in working with me, recording presentations like this, being on podcast interviews. And then Mondays is my CEO days. I look at all my numbers. Maybe I want the day off, and Fridays, go connect with people. So essentially, I have a 3-day work week and then 4 days off. That is how I want to live my life right now. I'm also mindful that it may shift and change. So I actually want to ask you, and I hope you have a pen and paper and taking notes, how do you see your life? How long are you working? Is it 3 days? Is it 4 days? It doesn't matter. And just remember, your success and the definition of happiness is going to be different from you, from other people, including your partner, family, or even parents. People and culture. Who do you stand by? Who do you work with? And I know people get really nervous. If I niche too much, I'm going to cancel other people out. So as I said earlier, and as Derenda introduced me, and as you see the picture here, I'm a business and career coach for women of color and allies. That is who I stand by. And if you're thinking, well, Elaine, do you work with men? I actually do have male clients. And what's really important for me is that they are sharing similar values. Obviously, they understand the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So yes, I say that I focus on women of color and allies, but I'm also sharing and leading with my values, if that's something that is important to you. So what are you doing to share who you work with specifically? And just know if someone is outside of the target market, like women of color and allies, and I have men, then you can make that discernment and decision if they share similar values. Because if anything is the values, that is the most important. I know I cannot work with people who do not have the same values aligned to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So people and culture, and we're right here in the Color Joe's approach. How are you honoring your family and ancestors? So like I said, in the personal legacy part of this is I have a picture, I have this necklace. And then second, how are you also giving back to the community that has gotten you here? I'm very grateful for my mentors, not just the coaches I've paid, but mentors that I had back in college. And my give back is, for example, doing this presentation. I have my own podcast I could check out on any podcast platform called the Color Your Dreams podcast, where I give advice. That's my way to give back. And an important question to ask as well, not only just identifying the clients you work with, but who's your chosen family? Not just the family that you were born into, but who's there to support you. And let me tell you, I have a village that supports me. Before we hit record with Derenda, I was telling her, look, I had to go back to therapy. So my therapist is part of my chosen family to heal a lot of the generational trauma. I have a nutritionist. I have my own business coach. So, and also just family and friends that I could go to. So who is your chosen family? So accountability to align, the support and clarity to stay true to you. So we're going to start going numbers here. And that's really what we've been asking ourselves, right? These past 2 years, the numbers and stats I shared with millions of people leaving their job, people starting their own businesses, is the question of how do we stay true to ourselves? And we had to ask ourselves that because we have been stuck at home. And with that is asking ourselves these deep questions. So are you setting goals for yourself? And are you taking time to give yourself a CEO day where you're looking at all of your numbers and reflecting how you feel? It's kind of like driving a car, right? We all drive a car because, sure, we enjoy driving it by the beach. I live in California. I'm going through the mountain passes, going through forests, but we never get a car and drive it because we're like, ooh, I'm so excited to change the oil. I'm so excited to put gas because it's so expensive. It's a balance of the two. So being a CEO for yourself, it's like looking at a dashboard, how you're looking at the gas, the battery, if it's overheating. It's important to look at that, which is why it goes to measuring to manifest the numbers and vision to build your legacy. So being intentional, what are your top 3 goals for the year? And I always say top 3 with my own clients, but here's the hard part, because I'm pretty sure you want to put all the professional goals, but what is one personal goal? So one personal goal for me was giving myself more time this past year, for example, and giving myself like quarterly trips. So for example, I'm going to New York in a couple of weeks, but what are your top 3 goals? And then breaking it down, what are your top 3 goals this quarter? And are you keeping track? So I know Derenda would appreciate this, but for example, maybe it's maybe it's saving up your 6-month emergency fund. So you need to save up like from the money that you get, like $5,000 away, and it's automated on the 15th of each month. So that is money, right? But also personally, maybe, look, I could just be personal right now, but at the end of last year, my doctor shared with me, hey, your blood pressure is a little above normal. I mean, not quite high, but like you should watch. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to take care of my health. I start going to Bikram yoga 3 to 5 times a week. And I'm just looking at my numbers in terms of blood pressure. But you could literally track anything with numbers. And if you're like, I am not a numbers girl or boy, what you measure manifest. And remember, looking at your numbers is not a reflection of who you are. It's just a reflection of past behavior and skills, but just know where you're at right now in life or business, you could shift and change in the future. That's what I just said here. Numbers don't define you. They tell you where you're at and how you can manifest. And the reason why, and this is from a book called The Prosperous Coach, most business owners really love the box here, your services and products, but what they really hate is to the right, running your business. But to have a flourishing business, it's a combination of the two. The amount of fun and success you will have is going to be dependent on how successful your service is and how you are looking at the things to maintain your business. So when you're thinking about pivoting, when looking at your business numbers, what service or product brings in the most revenue? And a good number when I was talking to my bookkeeper is having a service that brings you 80% of the profit. So I'm from, for example, I am from California, so In-N-Out, the burger chain here. If you notice, they're always marketing the double double. They have other things on their menu, but it's the double double, right? It's kind of like that local ice cream shop. They're known for that one flavor, but they have the other flavors. But when you have one service or one product, just know that is one system. But if you have too much, that's different systems. So looking at what is bringing you the most revenue. And two, this is a hard question, is what service or product do you align with? What brings you the most joy? Because money is energy. Money comes from the word current, currency. Money is like water. So when water stays stuck, it turns gross and moldy, but when it moves, just like when we're paying for bills, it becomes clean and clear. A third is another question to ask yourself is, how are your clients coming to you? And we'll go more in depth in other slides. Do you know your numbers in that? I mean, people know, okay, I made X amount, but I know for me, 80% of my business comes from referrals and renewals, and 20% comes from Google SEO and my podcast. And that is what I just focus on in my business. It's kind of like looking at what is your ROI when you're looking at your retirement. And then fourth, how can we make things even more simple? Scaling comes from simplicity. So 2 questions to ask yourself. Do you understand your client journey? And is it simple? I'm going to show you how crazy it was last year, and it actually burned me out. So lead generation means it's like, how are you growing your audience and possible leads? I was on Google, podcasts, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, referrals, right? Touch points, there's 2 to 3 calls for conversion. Usually I have a retreat. And then I had like 3 signature programs, a mastermind, inner circle, career coach. It burned me out. When I was launching my mastermind for starting entrepreneurs, what was interesting, and I just noticed it and tracked the numbers, where by the end of my launch, I wasn't even converting any mastermind clients. I was converting scaling entrepreneurs. And I was also mindful when I go back to the questions of what do you feel aligned with, I felt more aligned with working with my scaling entrepreneurs, Color Dreams Inner Circle, over my Align Legacy Mastermind, because I just really enjoyed it. I mean, it's nothing wrong with starting entrepreneurs, but this is who I enjoyed working with. And I had career coaching clients, but I also enjoyed one-to-one. So how I simplified my business so I could have the 3-day work week is, okay, Google SEO, podcasts, I'll post on LinkedIn and referrals, touch points the retreat, and 2 to 3 calls before conversion. And my signature program is really my Color Dreams Inner Circle for scaling entrepreneurs. And then if someone's not a good fit, it's one-to-one. But I just wanted to show you the difference. I have like 4 different services. I have just 2 that I am focused on, keeping it simple, because remember, each service comes with different systems. And mind you, what I do is I promote my inner circle. It's like my forward-facing service. And then if I talk to them and they're not a good fit, then I upsell them to my one-to-one. It's kind of like that double mentality, like in and out. They like focus on marketing the in and out, but hey, if you're a vegetarian, you don't eat it, you could get the grilled cheese. It's not like they're going to turn you around. People always ask, oh my gosh, where do I focus on social media? I needed to be everywhere and everything. Understand your audience. Check your numbers. Like I said, 20%. I mean, I work with clients at the very earliest age, late 20s, but really 30s and up. I'm getting more older folks, which I love working with. So I'm actually not, I mean, I'm on Instagram and Facebook a little bit, but where I really focus on is phone conversations and events. And if you're not even sure what social media platform your clients use, ask them, hey, what do you use? How do you get information? That's where you could ask. Like a good rule of thumb, like TikTok tends to be Gen Z. I know Facebook is baby boomers, Instagram is millennials. So you just need to understand your audience by simply asking them for feedback. And if you're not sure what content to create, ask your clients again. Or if you notice the conversations that you're having in your sales conversations or with your client conversations, what's 1 to 3 topics you want to learn from me when it comes to growing and scaling your business. And I know these are my top 3 topics. So I consistently talk about it, which is why, like, how to purposely pivot. Hey, I'm talking about how to scale and purposely pivot. So I got gifts. We're towards almost the end, but you don't want to leave. And unfortunately, I don't have that Oprah money yet to give each and every single one of you cars. But if you loved all the information that I have shared with you in the presentation, I do have a free Color Your Dreams newsletter. Every Monday, you receive weekly business and career tips. I also make it fun. It got gifts. If you remember Zanga Live Journal back in the day, it's that type of vibe. You just have to go to elainelou.com/join and just put your name and email address. Second, I have my Color Your Dreams podcast. I am on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or any other podcast platform. You could also go to elainelou.com/podcast, and a new episode comes out every Thursday. Or if I got other fellow millennials listening, you could add me on Instagram at @ElaineLou_ and DM me UWM, which is obviously Urban Wealth Management, and you'll receive a free gift. And you've seen all my client testimonials, so I want you guys to be my next success story by just taking action. And I actually want you to think about it. Rather than 3 things, what is one thing you can do? Maybe it is looking at where all of your clients are coming from. Maybe it's asking for feedback from your clients of what social media platforms do you use. Maybe it's really asking yourself and reflecting, out of all of these services and products, which one do I actually really enjoy doing? And focusing on that and making it better. So what is one action item you can do? So I know you came for me, but you really came for you. So thank you for watching for you.
I told Elaine prior to the recording of this webinar that I was so looking forward to her presentation. Let me show myself here that I was so looking forward to her presentation and all of the valuable and wonderful insight that she was going to provide. And she certainly did not disappoint. As someone who is a business owner myself, I was vigorously taking notes. And so thank you. One of the things I did want to ask you is, you mentioned this, you touched on it a little bit in your presentation, but to tell us a little bit more about your legacy retreat.
Yeah, thank you for asking. So I have 2 retreats coming up. I don't know if a lot of people are based here in California, but I have a 1-day, I call it the Sustainable Summer Retreat in Pasadena, California. It's on Sunday, July 17th from 9 to 2. But hey, I don't know about you guys. I want to enjoy me, enjoy my life that's beyond business. I mean, the sun is shining, it is 80 degrees, but how can you create a sustainable business where you're both enjoying life and really understanding how to get consistent income and clients? So we go over, create a unique 90-day plan. It's for 5 to 8 people. If you're interested, you could go to elainelou.com/retreat. If you have any questions, you could also email me at elainelou@elainelou.com. So there's that. If you're like, Elaine, I'm in the Bahamas, I'm at Italy, well, you go, girl. Like, I'm glad you are doing your trips, because you should be. My next retreat is going to be in October in the LA area. I don't have exact dates yet, but you could email me at elainelou@elainelou.com. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to add it to the blog. So Derenda could share that in the blog.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. And again, thank you for all of the tips. As I said, I was vigorously taking notes, and some of the ones that really resonated with me included, let's see here, developing your top 3 goals. But what really stuck out was that one of them must be personal, which I don't think that we don't do a lot of. And so again, that one really resonated with me. The other one is, like really looking at what brings you the most revenue. And is that the service or product that you are most aligned with? And focusing on that, if indeed it is. And then, really understanding your audience. One of the things that, excuse me, I was also sharing with Elaine prior to the recording was that, I myself had just hired a social media marketing team, because I didn't have a whole lot of social media presence. And so what I found remarkable when you were sharing with your own experience with your business, that you found that, what was it that, rather than focusing on, having a presence on all of these different social media platforms, that you found that the one that worked, I guess, the best for you, or that resulted in, the most conversions, if you will, were the phone conversations. So again, that was something that was very enlightening, and that resonated with me as well. So again, thank you so much for all of these amazing tips. Elaine, let me see, I'm going to have you one more time put up if you can, just put up your contact information.
Oh, yeah.
So if people want to learn more about how to reach out to you and learn more about your business and career coaching.
Yeah, I'm gonna just type it on a Word doc.
Okay. Okay.
So, let me make this big. And also do know I do a complimentary 30-minute call, no strings attached. Like if you have a problem, I'll help you identify like 3 action items towards it. And if it's a great fit to work together, great. We could talk about how to continue working together. If it's not a great fit, that's fine. Like we're not meant for everybody. I could share with you other resources, people. But if you want a complimentary call, you could go to elainelou.com/call. But here is my contact info. You could email me. This is my Instagram. And then if you want to schedule a complimentary call, go to elainelou.com/call.
All right. Awesome. Thank you again, Elaine, for these invaluable and tangible tips. And thank you to all of our Smart Women Savvy Money Club members for tuning in to this presentation. And until next time, stay safe and be well. Take care. Bye-bye.